Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today is April the 26th, 2017. My name is Kay, and I'm joined by my Costco listing co host, Jamal Bonner.
Samples. Mm.
On today's show, we'll talk about the NFL draft, more on the NFL schedule, the NBA playoffs, and the needs for the Dallas Cowboys defensively, and much more. Jamal, would you like to give a shout out?
Good evening, Kay. I would love to give a shout out to the one and only Blake Griffith, who, unfortunately, with his oft injured self, has probably played himself out of being among the LA Clippers. However, because we like him in LA so much, I can see him crossing the way and coming over to the Lakers. He's a very popular player. So, shout out to Blake Griffith and his last days as a Clipper. What about you, Kay?
Well, I don't have anyone in particular to shout out to. Hey D Web. Hey D Web, we're gonna shout out to D Web, our first listener for today. Okay. But there's no
Woo!
one I want to shout out to, so I'll just shout out to everyone.
All right.
All right.
So, Kate, today was kind of a bittersweet day. There were a number of cuts that took place in Bristol today. The first one you alerted me to, and it's something that we've been waiting for because it's been reported for a little while. But the um release of Ed Warder from the ESPN family was a bit of a shock and a bit of a jolt this morning. And along the way, there were several other shocks and jolts of not only on air personality, but beat writers and others who contributed to ESPN in terms of either online or on ESPN.com. The ultimate reason behind it, from what I'm reading, is cost. And of course, that the ballooning costs of ESPN had kind of gotten out of control. They weren't bringing in the money that they should have been to cover the various other contracts that they got themselves aligned into from a broadcast standpoint. And so you've seen the departure of people like Colin Hurd, Bill Simmons. You've seen on air people like Tom Jackson and Chris Berman. The list goes on, but you've seen a lot of slow reduction, the change in Mike and Mike in the morning, which was a cash cow, but and was going to have this great big studio that was going to be in Times Square next. The issue that I guess I have with it, Kay, is a lot of this could have been probably maybe headed off at the pass. It didn't really need to involve some of these little nicks and cuts that they're doing to try to solve a real issue of hemorrhaging. The NBA cost, for example, for ESPN is $485 million per year to 1.7 billion starting last year. Get some help. You know, start maybe farm out some of your regular season games to another network and share in their costs, or even give up the playoffs because you don't do it as well as TNT and as well as you know NBA TV, but that right there could have saved a lot in terms of just the ability to have the staffing, the personalities that made up ESPN. So I'm a little disappointed today to see that there are those who have been just inexcusably just dropped and walked out the door and no fanfare, nothing on ESPN.com about thank you for your service or we're sorry that these people are no longer with the company, you know. And when you're talking about Ed Warner, 17 years of service, come on, something, dude, something. So, ESPN, I'm really not impressed with you right now. And Kay, I don't want to ramble. What was your take? What did you think of it?
Well, Jamal, we've been discussing for quite some time about how to make ESPN better. Because at one point, they were everything that we needed concerning sports because it wasn't so much with social media and us getting news from other sources. Um, we came with a lot of stuff, but mainly show more sports, more sports related stuff. That's kind of important. I don't think that letting these great personalities and these great bloggers and these great analysts go to other networks is the answer on how to make your network better. So yes, you're right. It would have been more beneficial, I feel, to do more contractual things, to move some money around that way rather than cut the talent because they are the face of your network. Like, Ed Water, really? Jason Stark, really? I don't know. So, are they more appealing for me to watch? No. And I listen to a lot of sports radio. So, if I don't hear Ed Water coming on telling me about my Cowboys, then like who else is gonna tell me about them?
And no offense to Todd Archer. I love Todd Archer, and no
Right.
offense to the to our boys who write for the Star Telegram and the Dallas Morning News, but there was just something trustworthy about Ed Water. He was,
Right.
he's that's our dude. That's who we grew up with. So, and we'll still follow the Cowboys through our people, but there's just something about that Ed Water touch. Besides, Ed Water was like one of the few people who Randy Galloway didn't give too much stick to when he talked to him. He respected that
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, because we knew he was close to this to whatever it was, and we trusted what he said. We knew it wasn't gonna be like, oh, no backtracking on the things that he reported.
No,
So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
But oh well, I hope they get it together.
yeah. Hope they do.
All right, so the Saints signed Adrian Peterson,
Oh dear.
and the first game is against the Minnesota Vikings, who do not know or have not reported to us the condition of their quarterback,
Yeah,
Bridgewater.
yeah. Teddy Bridgewater there may or may not pick up the fifth year option on him, and the status of Teddy Bridgewater is still uncertain. But if I can go back, I saw the rumors floating around yesterday, first thing in the morning, and I spilled my coffee. And I didn't reach out to you because I was afraid that this was just another one of those rumors. And then when they started talking about, yeah, he's going to sign for 2 years, 1 year with a 1 year option, and the next thing I did was I checked the schedule. And gladly this year we don't play the Saints. So because I don't
I
no.
don't get it.
I don't want to see Adrian Peterson against the Cowboys. He does really well against the Cowboys, but otherwise, I think it'll be very entertaining. I think it'll be a really great. I hope it'll be entertaining. It's the Saints. I,
We'll see.
yeah.
And Kendrick Jackson wants to know what about Romo as a commentator? Jamal, what do you have to offer for Kendrick?
Hope. Keep hope alive, Kendrick.
You both
I and
can.
that this man rises to the occasion as he did as a quarterback. The rookie, well, it wasn't rookie. It was like a couple. He was in his first couple of years when he had come out of Eastern Illinois and was inserted into the game. That
Mm.
it should have been too big for him, but he handled it well. And I think that that's what we're looking forward to seeing him do in the first year of him being in the booth. There'll be some stumbles. It won't be exactly the smoothest thing, but I'm certain right now that they are working him hard to try to get him into broadcasting condition to be able to produce a very interesting and listenable uh, show, unlike what we had with his predecessor. What about you? What do you think?
Well, I think that Tony is a smart guy. People make jokes about him or whatever, but I think he's very smart. He adapts to situations really well. So the best of luck to him in whatever he does. So we'll definitely see. Everyone's gonna watch. Everyone. So we'll.
Absolutely.
Alrighty. So Beast Mode went to the Raiders, okay? And everyone thinks that this is a great idea.
Yeah. What's wrong with it?
Jamal, why is this such a great idea? And what is going on in Seattle that he doesn't want to run the ball for them?
The Let me go back and answer the second question first. I don't think there's anything going on per se in Seattle as much as this is the ability to be able to play within your hometown. He's from the Bay Area. He gets to play for a Bay Area team, so it's something about the proximity. Plus, he's really big in the community. So honestly, more than it's unfortunate that it's a win for him, and it's a win for the Raiders, especially since for the time that they're still in Oakland. So
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. They're not going to be the Bay Area too much longer. And Kendrick and I believe that it's more or less along a Pete Carroll type of situation. Okay, I think that debacle in the Super Bowl, like not giving that man the ball to do what he does, is just something that's not quite right with that. Okay, and also, as I was discussing earlier, why they are so willing to get rid of Richard Sherman? Is it because they don't want to deal with people who speak out against the decisions that the coach make? Is it that, or what is it?
I think you touched on that. That Richard Sherman is a very outspoken player. So is Michael Bennett, but I don't recall Michael Bennett directly speaking out against plays that the coach has called and so forth. That's something that Richard Sherman has done and has questioned the offensive side as well. That it is, I guess it's one of those you don't want too much stirring of the pot, and that Richard Sherman has gotten to the point where maybe they feel that a different location may be a good idea for him. At the same time, however, I don't know that it's going to happen. I think that what really needs to happen is that both parties need to just kind of have a cooling off period and to go back into next season because for what the Seahawks want and could probably ask for Richard Sherman, they're not going to get it. So,
No, not from anyone.
no, no.
Um,
But he's worth it. That's the problem.
It's worth it, yes. Robert thinks that it's a classy move for Lynch to go to the Raiders, and they also need to fill some seats
They
since everyone thinks that the fans are just gonna go to Las Vegas 8 times a year to check out their team. So we'll see.
No, they're not.
We'll
They're
see.
not.
That's wishful thinking. So Jamal, your opinion, what is the biggest draft bust in your team's history?
Okay, I every time you asked me the question, I got to draft bust, and I never got past Todd Marinovich. And I know you said for the Cowboys, but I could never get past either Tony Mandrick or Todd Marinovich. Those two just bam, that was it. I could not come up with a Cowboy because none of the Cowboy failures have been as huge as those two highly touted boys. So I'm sorry, I don't have a legitimate Cowboy answer to that question, but yeah, Marinovich and Mandrick, those. Mm-mm. So what
Okay.
about you? You
Um, I mean, I don't know. I don't know in the history. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. Didn't we draft a quarterback? What was the
Vince
guy's
Carter?
name? No, well,
Yeah, no, he was worthwhile. He was worthwhile. He played. He actually played.
he did great they for what Parcells wanted to do with him. Um, I can't think of the guy. But he was a quarterback, and we could have gotten another quarterback besides. that did really, really, really well. And then the
Mhm.
guy wound up getting in trouble, going to rehab, and got arrested. But he wasn't Quincy Carter. It's another guy. But anyway, so
Oh.
and his name is okay. So I'm gonna let y'all know next week once I find his name. Okay, so Jamal, what is the best draft class for the Dallas Cowboys?
Oh. The best draft class since Jerry Jones took over, at least from what I can recall, is the Troy Aikman class, and that one that had there was Daryl Johnston, and it had Willis Crockett, um, um, center, center. It was my center. Um, Stepnoski. Um, that for me, that's a foundational draft. I mean that those just Stepnoski, Johnston, and Aikman, foundational pieces. Tony Tolbert was a part of that draft as well, and that you're talking about some really good foundational pieces that led to the beginnings of the team that went to the Super Bowl. I
Okay,
took them over the it was
2000.
hard. I took him over the Demarcus Ware draft and over the Emmett Smith draft just because John Daryl Johnston just completely underrated but absolutely worthwhile. We wouldn't have had an Emmett Smith with rushing titles had it not been for a Daryl Johnston. I feel that really was for me the foundational and one of the best drafts. It wasn't.
What
Go ahead.
what I think is hopefully like in 5 to 6 years, I can say that the 2016 draft class was the best class of them all. That's what I hope.
With that's fair. That's absolutely fair because yeah, you're talking about Dak. You're talking about our little Munchie man.
I don't know if you want to call him that. Okay, but yeah,
Yeah.
much
Feed Zeke.
chance.
Feed Zeke. Come on now.
No, and you have hopefully Tapper. We don't know.
Mhm.
We don't. And Jalen Smith.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh man, Jalen Smith pans out. Yes, I would be a very happy man. You know, another part of that class that we could have counted on, Darius Jackson.
Oh yeah, but we just gave him away for nothing to
Let's
Cleveland. I believe is where he went.
we just
I still don't
I
understand
don't
that.
I don't want to get into that. Okay,
Right.
so and I think the best draft best draft day trade. What you got for that one? What's your best draft day trade?
I would definitely like to see what you have for that.
No, I'm gonna go ahead and ask you on that one.
Answer is, 2010 when we went down one spot for Dez Bryant.
Mhm.
Dez is ours. We saw him. We wanted him, and they felt my mental telepathy through the TV, and so they did everything that they needed to do to get our guy. So that's it.
Yeah,
I got.
I yeah, that's I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one. The Des Bryant was one of those where I sat there and I said, "Oh, I would really like for that to happen. That would really be nice." But I don't know that that's gonna. Nope, bam, happen. And there have
Happened.
been times where Jerry has done some wheeling and dealing and all for naught. This was the I'm gonna make this one move, and this kid is gonna be worthwhile. And sure as could be, yeah, he's lived up to everything.
So let's get into the NBA playoffs. I watched my first and second playoff game this past weekend.
Let me ask you a quick question. Sidebar, I'm sorry. So the Dallas Cowboys did do one other thing this week. They signed DeMarcus Ware to a 1 day contract. How was that for you?
That works. I figured that they would. I know that his heart is and has always been with the Cowboys, so it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, I was very happy. I didn't want to go without mentioning it. Now tell me about the first playoff game that you watched.
I watched Cleveland sweep them boys up on out the way. I don't necessarily think it was Cleveland. I think it was LeBron pretty much getting them up on out the way. I hope that the rest of the team like catches up, and gets the zeal, the desire to kind of want to know that they're in the playoffs and they actually need to be playoff ready. How about that?
I think that that's what you're going to see in the next round. There will be a rejuvenation of the Cavaliers. That there will be a bit more intensity coming from them, and some real playoff basketball coming from them. That I'm not going to say it was a wake up call, but it certainly did catch their attention, especially since they should have lost the first. They probably actually should have lost two of the games in this series.
Yeah. All right. So the Rockets advance, the Warriors advance, the Cavs advance, and the Spurs are in a little bit of a struggle.
Woo,
And
those.
I actually need for the Spurs to get up out of the way because I have an active bet
Wait,
that
what?
and if you see me up on this mug doing the finals with the Spurs jersey on, you'll know that I lost.
Wait,
So
wait, but stop. What's this bet? Talk to me. What you got?
I just told you I'm gonna be up on here with a Spurs jersey.
If Memphis wins or if the Spurs win?
Spurs get to the finals. I'm gonna be in a Spurs jersey.
The
On the
Western Conference Finals or the NBA Finals?
NBA finals.
I'm not worried about you. You won't be in a Spurs jersey. Okay,
Oh, you promise?
I promise you, you're not going to be in a Spurs jersey. First of all, they have to get past Memphis, and this this series should not be as tough as it's showing itself to be. Memphis is, but Memphis always plays San Antonio. They're always a hard out. Period. So I shouldn't be surprised, but I am. I did expect that this Bird squad would come in and kind of 4-1, not 3-2 and a hard 3-2. And also, you have the Raptors who are up finally 3-2 on a Bucks squad that these are a bunch of kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, the Bucks are going to be interesting in a few years. But they're two big men. If they can keep those guys, oof, they're going to be vicious. The Jazz and the Clippers, which
That's not even interesting to me. Who cares?
it's there. It kind of needs to be semi talked about.
By
Okay,
who?
we talked about it. That was it.
Okay.
You also have the Celtics and the Bulls knotted up. That was a little bit of a surprise. I think people expected that to be a sweep by the Celtics, and instead that has turned into a bit of a dogfight. Game
Yes.
5 was tonight.
And it's a 1 point lead.
For whom?
Hold on, they're gonna show it again for Boston at this time. It's in the third quarter, 6 minutes and 3 seconds. Got it.
Mm. And the weird thing about this series is the home team has lost throughout this series. And unfortunately for Chicago, they have no Rondo tonight. And to close out the Wizards and the Hawks, the Wizards are our adopted team, even though we really are not that interested. I had to make sure I said, yeah, but that's who knows
But
what's
I
going
think
to.
it was interesting that we picked them to be our adopted team. I think our thinking at that point is like, how is Wall and Bill going to coexist
Mm-hmm.
and get into their winning ways? And we didn't expect them to be in the playoffs at all. We
Mm-mm.
just picked them because we felt it was an interesting team that could very well come up, and come up is what they did.
Yeah,
Um, so we did good on that one.
we did good on both of them. I mean, our other guy got into the first round, and that he's probably going to be MVP for some unknown reason. I
What?
look, MVP needs to make it through the first round. I'm just saying he needs to make it through the first round.
We went and
He
sat
needs.
down like 20 seconds, okay? Or how many ever seconds the man sat down and the other team scored 26 points. Do you have an explanation? 6 minutes. Do you have an explanation for that?
It's not like he's playing defense.
He is not important to his team. Where
Oh, he's
would his team
important.
be if he wasn't on the team?
He's important. They would be. in
At
the
the
same place. Oh, they would probably be languishing towards the bottom. The same place the Rockets would be without Harden.
draft. That's what they would be doing
The same
without him.
place without the same place would they be without Harden.
He's a bad boy, okay?
Yeah, I didn't say he wasn't a bad boy. I'll agree with you, but he's not my
And
MVP. I think Harden should have gotten it.
mm-mm,
Mm-hmm.
no.
So,
Yeah, moving on. We just gonna disagree on that. All right. So now we're gonna go and okay. So
for your birthday.
for my birthday and
Woo!
trip, okay,
What?
my trip to DC.
What? You're coming east again?
Yes.
Oh,
Even though my
wow.
hair does not hold up in the East, I will visit the East. Okay. So they're gonna be playing them funky but Redskins. Aren't you glad? All right, so we're gonna be playing the Redskins. Of course, it's a battle every time they play.
Every
We
time.
seem to win when we go out there, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that'll be a win, and for my birthday.
Yes, for your birthday. When we usually lose.
But we won last year
That's
for the
right.
first.
We broke that one. That was that
I
Dak
saw I was
Prescott.
not that drunk that day.
That's that Dak. He's not concerned about our losing. Dak is here for winning.
That's right.
So the next week the Chiefs come to Dallas. Been a little while. That should be an interesting matchup. And then what should have taken place last year as the NFC. Anyway, let's not even go there. We traveled to the other Mercedes Dome because they couldn't come up with their own original name for a dome. The Mercedes Superdome and is in Atlanta. Excuse me, it's in New Orleans. Why does Mercedes have to name another dome?
And
Why?
they're in a conference and they hate each other. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I mean, why couldn't they have named it the Smart Car Dome? I mean, that's another brand that they own. I mean, that's or they could have no. If they called it the Maybach Dome, I'd have really been mad. Atlanta just you couldn't have told them anything. Maybe if they had won the Super Bowl, they could have earned that the Maybach Dome.
How about that?
I mean, do you really want your name on a team that dropped? So anyway,
No.
yeah, we're gonna go play the Falcons, and as Cowboy fans, we will not leave until there are 2 seconds left on the clock because God knows what Atlanta can do with a lead in the fourth quarter. Moving ahead, the Eagles come to Dallas November 19th, and then one of the oddities of the schedule, the okay, help me out here. What
The
what's
Chargers?
what's the name of this team again?
What are they?
I um I
When do
know
they move? They move this year or next year?
I think they moved this year. So are they the Los Angeles Chargers? Some team from Los Angeles that used to be in San Diego, we will be playing on Thanksgiving Day.
Okay.
And then the NFL decided to be nice to us, and the week after Thanksgiving, we get to stay home, and we get the Redskins. Uh, and then the game that, yeah, we don't, you're not coming up for that. December,
I'm not.
yeah.
You know what? I'm not coming up there for my team to win at the last 2 seconds of the game. No, like they
December
did.
10th in the Swamp Meadowlands in New Jersey. The New Jersey Giants against the Cowboys, December 10th on a Sunday. And then 7 days later, we go cross country to the Black Hole for probably the last time. Um, I am glad do get to play there once. It is going to be a home game for us, as usually our West Coast swings are home games, but this in particular I expect to be very blue and silver. Cowboys versus the Raiders. And then Christmas Eve, some bashing is going to take place. Mm, mm, mm. The
All right.
Seahawks finally come to Dallas. How long has it been?
It's been some time because we always seem to go up there
Yeah, we always go up there. I'm tired of that. And then to close out the year, that
again.
we go
Again.
to yeah. Yeah, it's the same thing as last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was New Year's Day. Now
Yeah,
it's New Year's Eve this time.
yeah.
So
I don't. So, what do you think about our schedule? Having looked it over.
I'm glad that we don't have 4 games on the road in the east or up north. You know, cold weather games. You know how they have us in November, December. No, at the time, even though he was from up north, he didn't
Mm-hmm.
play very well in the cold. So,
Mm-mm. Yeah.
I
Got it. Let me bring comment back. Right now, I think this is an 8-8 squad as we speak on the eve of the draft. Now, what we're about to talk about next, I believe, will be the difference maker for this team, honestly, and that is the defensive needs. Talk to me about our defensive needs.
we need some corners. We need some backs. We need some pass rushers. We need some war daddies. Where's the war daddies? Where are they, Jamal? Where are
Well, Kay, I the war daddy while or war daddies while important, I think that you touched on it really big. We definitely need some backs. We definitely need some corners. The safety position, I think, is going to be big for us as well. We need third cornerbacks. We need to be able to cover, let's say, for example, the Giants, who are going to put Beckham on one side and Brandon Marshall on the other. And then if they happen to line up a third wide receiver, we need a real corner who can cover him, not a safety. So what I was first looking at is the yes, there's the draft, but something did pop in my head, and that is we're going to get some more money come June 1st with the actual retirement of Tony Romo. And that is going to allow us to go back into the free agency market after the fact and do some value add shopping. And I think that that's going to be what happens before we go into training camp, that we will have some more positions filled up before training camp starts. And I think they're going to do a lot of shopping during training camp. I think it's going to be a ragtag group for the first couple of weeks, and our offense is going to have to carry us for the beginning of the season. But I think this defense can come together, I believe, completely in Rob Marinelli, and that 10-6. I think we can do 10-6.
we'll definitely see. I don't underestimate my team. I learned from doing that last year, and I'll never ever do it again until the next time. All right, Jamal, are there any words you have for the end of our? Oh, well, guys. Okay, so
Thank
tomorrow,
you.
I'm gonna take a little trip, and I'm gonna go be amongst the people at the NFL draft, and hopefully I can do a little live segment speaking with the the fans, and see what they want, who they want to draft, who they want on their team. These are all important things to all the people, okay? So I'm definitely going to go out there and represent, okay, for the radio station and for my Cowboys, okay? And for you, Jamal. I'm doing this for you. And I'm definitely going to have a lot of food, okay? I'm going to eat.
Yes.
And when I come back, I'm going straight to the gym and repent for all my food sins. That's what's gonna happen.
So speaking of the gym, okay, I saw an
Yes,
inspirational photo that you posted.
yes. That was me. Tore the f down. Okay, you gotta tear that body down to get that body like you want it to be. Okay, and I don't mind being tore down and showing the world because when I put them clothes on, one of these days, Jamal. Okay, I'm back.
So how are your workouts progressing? Very quickly, Kay.
The workouts are horrible. It does not get easier. Okay, it's not fun. The sweat has increased. It's coming out of a lot of different places. But I feel great when I leave the gym. Well, no, 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 no. I feel great a couple of hours after leaving the gym. I definitely have to put myself back together after leaving that place. But it's wonderful. Herman, guys at the cycle bar, go check him out. You know, if you need a personal trainer, he's really good. He's dedicated and he is very motivational. Okay, so check him out.
All
Okay,
right. All
that's
right.
all I.
With that, Kay, good
Yes,
luck to you tomorrow going into the Beast of the Belly.
yes, I will be calling you. So I hope you're available
Ooh, my battery's dying on my phone.
today. It's supposed to
Ooh.
die tomorrow. Why
Oh,
would it
tomorrow, right?
be
Tomorrow. I'll try to charge it tomorrow.
good? Bye, Jamal. Good show.
Bye, Kay. See ya.